Hey, this is Greg. DopelivenTV, man. It's about to get real. First of all, welcome everybody. It is Friday, Freestyle Friday. You know, we talk about just about everything, but we still stay on the theme. And this week, this theme is about abusive situations, abusive relationships. How do we get through abusive relationships, abusive situations? What are the signs? And we've had this week a couple of people who have been through some things, honestly been through some things. All right. And today's going to be no different. Right before the show, I was talking to a lady called a lady named Heidi. And we were having some discussions up until 15 seconds before the show started. And she has an amazing story. Her story is also about faith, perseverance, persecution, and coming out of it, and how to survive an abusive situation. Let me start off by saying the views that are expressed on this Dope Living TV live are not necessarily the views of Dope Living or its affiliates. And having said that, I'm going to bring on Heidi. But before I bring Heidi on, let me bring.
What I'm saying is, I do it anyway.
What I'm saying is, I do it anyway. Like, who is that, man? You know not to come on here with all that noise. But welcome, Gina. No, it's okay. It's okay.
Hey. Yes. I'm out and about. I'm doing errands on my off day.
Mm-hmm. That's what's up. Everything good today?
Everything is good.
Good. I got on standby in the lobby right now. A lady named, I'm saying it right this time. I said called a lady named Heidi.
Yes.
And
I know who Heidi is. I haven't met her yet, but I know who she is.
You're going to meet her in a second, man. And we just had a short conversation up until 15 seconds before I cut this on. Okay. Because she has a compelling story.
Yes, she does. Yes.
So I'm going to bring Heidi on. Welcome to the show, Heidi.
Thank you. Hi, Heidi.
Hi.
And in the same time, I'll bring Terry on. What's going on, Terry?
Hey, Terry.
How you doing? Hi, Heidi.
So, these ladies, Terry was actually hanging out with us yesterday, talking about the movie.
Yeah, they had me on the show, Heidi, and they didn't give me the heads up of what the show was about. The Shack. Okay, and I haven't seen the movie. I saw it on TBN. I saw the guy on TBN, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they got real deep, real intellectual, and I was talking to theologians last night.
No, what Terry did yesterday was actually bless the room. All right, she blessed the room, and
yes, she did.
Seriously, and it was a good feeling. To a point where I had to, and I got to apologize to everybody. I had to get off for a second because 2020 has been tumultuous for me. Okay, I've lost so many people and friends, and yesterday, as the show was going on, I found out I lost another one. So,
oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that.
That's why I got off yesterday. So, but again, God is a working God, and he sees everything, and I don't question him, as we spoke on yesterday. There's no need to question God. He knows what he's doing. All right.
Absolutely.
So whatever happens, it's in his hands, and I just let it go.
Right.
But again, I want to welcome you, Terry, and I want to welcome Heidi. So Heidi, we were talking, like I said, up until 15 seconds before the show started. And if you don't mind, this show, you can say anything you want. And we ask questions. You don't have to answer any questions that we ask, okay? But I'd like you to tell everybody your story.
Okay. Well, in 2018, our daughter, Molly, was actually lured into human trafficking. And she experienced approximately 9 months of an absolute living hell. She was beaten. She was raped. She was sold every day, multiple times a day. And during that time, we were absolutely terrified for her safety. She was given drugs to keep her so that she wasn't aware of her surroundings. And during that time, we as parents were just absolutely terrified that she would not come out of this and that we would not reach her before we could get her safe. And so we were working with FBI, we were working with local law enforcement, we were working with an anti-trafficking agency, and following her social media and things so that we could kind of keep track of where she was, keep that connection with her. And we were telling her every day that we loved her no matter what's happened, and that we would always love her, and that would never change. And during that time, it was very traumatic for our entire family. It affected our entire family. And we actually had where the traffickers were showing up on our doorstep, demanding her to go in and get, items from our house. They were trafficking her outside of a home brothel situation with other minor girls and their children. They were trafficking her right outside of my school. I'm an educator, and so they literally were trafficking her about a block away from my school. And so every day as I was going out into the parking lot, I could actually see the home where she was. And it was dangerous for us. The police had said, they have multiple charges of domestic violence, carrying weapons on them, drug charges. So it is not safe for you to go in by yourself and get her out. And so we really had to work with them to get her out. And it's a long, bumpy road to recovery, but we were really fortunate. We had a great support system. We had friends and family members that covered us in prayer every single day, that really reached out on those really painful, very dark days for us. They would contact us and say, you need to serve. You need to serve somebody, and that will make you feel a little better. So let's go out and serve and do something for somebody else. And so they would just literally show up at our doorstep and say, come on, let's go serve here today. And we would go and help, gather groceries for someone that needed them, or sometimes it was we would just go by and give somebody a hug that needed it because they were suffering. So it really helped us to kind of solidify our faith, and it really helped us to solidify our faith in knowing that he was protecting her, that we could pray and we would feel his love for her and for our family. And there were multiple times that she was protected, and she could have easily been killed. She could have continued and stayed in this terrible circumstance, but he really blessed us. He showed us where she was. He kept us safe, kept her safe, as far as not allowing her to be killed or anything like that. We were able to get her to safety. And like I said, she's in a safe place now, and it's a long, bumpy road, and we know that, but it's really made our relationship with her much, much stronger.
Yeah, the reason why I wanted her to come on and join me. Okay, this little piece of my hair is.
I'm sorry, I was muted. I'm sorry. Let me ask this first, Terry. I'm sorry, Heidi. I wanted to ask you this: how long did at what age did she start into trafficking, and how long did this last?
It was 8. She was lured in at 18, and it lasted for 9 months until we got her into a safe home.
Wow. Go ahead, Terry. I'm sorry.
No, I said the reason why I wanted Heidi to join us is because Heidi and I are both on the Core Rahab's Daughters team, and she brings a different light. When you start hearing about human trafficking, everybody's giving you the statistics and a lot of the general stuff, but very seldom do you hear. Um, there's a piece called Through the Eyes of a Parent. So that's why I'm saying where you literally can see it through the eyes of a parent. And to my understanding, you had someone on that kind of was in the same situation that Heidi and Ian are experiencing at this particular time.
Yeah.
But
and they're still in it also. That's the
okay.
crazy part about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody, welcome Chris Mills, by the way, to the show.
Hello, everyone. How
Hey,
you doing?
Chris.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey.
Yeah,
And that's not unusual.
No, it's not.
That's not unusual. But one of the things that is needed, not only just with the awareness, but there needs to be a parent support mechanism. And Heidi brought that really to the forefront and to our attention, because when we take and we do the rescues, the focus is solely on the survivor, and we forget that there is a connection. So
Well, and there's an absolute loss. You grieve your child being gone. You're terrified that they'll never return. And you realize that they're never going to be the same again, ever.
And see, here's the thing. You know, when the lady was on Monday, I made the statement that I didn't know. I've seen movies that dealt with it. I've heard, seen news, you know, and the news just, it never occurred to me that this is so rampant. You know, Chris even mentioned it, you know, how it happens, you know, it happens all the time. I didn't know it happens all the time. I must have been in a hole or something. Okay. But I thought it was just in the movies, you know, and, you know, there was another thing that Chris had brought up as well. This is not just somebody pulling up in a white van and snatching you and putting you in, you know, this is your neighbor or somebody that you might even know.
It can even be a relative.
Yeah, and it's more blackmailing than it is sometimes more than anything. Because like what D said on Monday, they take them out, they wine them, they dine them, but they can't pay that money back that they just spent on them. So now, quote unquote, they got to work it out.
that's one form. That's the Romeo. That's the Romeo. And it's not unusual, Greg, that you're really not aware. I've talked to some legislators and some, you know, quote, movers and shakers that were just in awe. They know of it, but they didn't know the intensity of it. And to say that it's in your community in Northwest Indiana, it has doubled. And to say that, and to even literally have some of them say to me, oh, it's not here in our area. And it's like, well, we're the crossroad of America. Yes, it is. It's alive and we're looking at over $150 billion industry worldwide.
Absolutely.
And
99 billion of that is going towards commercial out of that 150.
well, you got the labor. See, we always want to just focus the sex. If you had to categorize it, you say sex is number one, but you got labor. You have labor trafficking. I don't know. We just finished doing a shoe drive, the Indiana chapter, to collect shoes that will go all around the world to impoverished countries to allow people to start shoe businesses, which will allow them to take care of their families, so that and not just in other areas, because it happens right here in the United States.
Absolutely.
They don't sell themselves or a family member out, quote, with the understanding that they're going to go and do a job and come home. then the labor will lead into the sex or exploitation. We don't talk about the organ human trafficking that is taking place, nor the domestic person. You know, you have a lot of illegal. It works my nerve when they call them aliens. We have a lot of immigrants that are here that are not here legal. They don't have their visas and green cards, so they're prostituted.
Yes.
From the government on down. So it's not like immigration is something new. One day you woke up and it's like, whoa, where did all these people come from? When you look at how subliminally the government started putting some things in place so to try to justify the illegals, because the bottom line is, if you're illegal, how can you get a driver's license? How can you go and serve the military? And how can you do all these things? And that's the one thing that when I'm talking to people, I tell them, don't talk about Trump. Okay. I mean, he's special and we understand that, but don't talk about him for the simple fact, number one, God allowed him to get in office. So number two, him being in office, no matter all that has gone on, but one thing that happened is that the boil was able to bust. We knew racism was alive and well, but it was totally exposed. And then he was one that you already knew how he was from Jump Street. He told you what he was going to do. So we knew he was going to go after the immigration and the illegals. But in that, it brought some stuff to the light that many of us didn't realize was going on. How many of them are being trafficked?
Right.
I mean, where those kids that are displaced from their parents. We don't really know what's going on and how long has this been going on. It's been going on from the beginning of time. The only thing is now is that human trafficking is second to drugs.
And that's
crazy. In a minute, it will be number one. And there are more people in slavery, and I'm saying slavery, in human traffic slavery, than it was when we were brought over here and enslaved. And so we got to look at, we have to look at the whole picture. Do you know your neighbor?
Huh.
Do you know your neighbor? You know who lives next door to you? You may see him and you nod, but do you really know?
Right.
You don't know what's going on.
Who's in your community? Who's in your church?
Yeah.
Now let's talk about that. Okay.
In our case,
a pastor just got arrested. I'm gonna let Heidi tell you part of her story. Yeah.
Right. Well, and in our case, we actually had some people that were investigating our church, and they came into our church, and as Christians, we welcomed them in, as good Christians do. We welcomed them in. We helped care for their children. We helped them get food when their family didn't have any food. We helped them to get clothing for their kids. And we really, befriended them. And what we didn't know was that this family had a daughter the same age as our daughter. And she was already in the life of trafficking. She was already being trafficked, and she had become a recruiter for them. And so we had no idea the extent and the safety risk that would impose upon our family. And we at first thought it was the daughter and her boyfriend that she was with, which we thought was a boyfriend, which really was a trafficker. And they ended up having a party. And, as good parents, I'm an educator, my husband's a social worker. We did all the questions, we asked, well, where are you going? Who are you going to be with? Are the parents going to be there? All those questions that you ask as a parent. And we had no idea that in saying yes, that she could go, because they had said, you know, the parents are going to be there. It's going to be safe. It's going to be a barbecue. There's only going to be these people there. And what we didn't know was behind the scenes, they were having this barbecue put on so that men could shop for our daughter. And that evening when she went to the barbecue, she didn't return. And we were frantic, looking for her, couldn't find her, didn't know what had happened. We thought maybe she had gotten in a car accident, you know, and we had no idea that this was what was ensuing. And it wasn't until I started frantically calling her friends and things, and they said, you know, well, we don't know where she is. They wanted to cover for her because they thought she might get in trouble. And that actually delayed us figuring out where she was and what had happened. And it wasn't until I got really firm with this particular young lady and said, if you don't tell me where the hell my daughter is, I'm getting the police involved. And we're going to show up at your doorstep. So you better start talking. Where is she and why isn't she home? And then she frantically started telling me everything that had unfolded that evening. And she started to speak about how these two men, a father and son duo, the son was 26, the father was in his 40s, late 40s, and they had raped my daughter, they had drugged her, and they had actually left her on our sunny porch to die, half naked, laying in her own vomit. And even then, when we had taken her into the hospital, because she was 18, she wouldn't grant us the ability to go back with her. She was embarrassed. She was scared because they were texting her, telling her, you know, you better not say anything and all this stuff, or we'll harm your family, we'll harm you. And so she was scared to death. She was terrified. And so as soon as we got her home, she packed a bag and she was gone. And he was right around the corner waiting for her.
What?
That started, you know, this trafficking ordeal where she was gone into other states. They had taken her into other states to be trafficked. They trafficked her out of every hotel in our hometown. And for us, it was absolutely terrifying.
I can imagine. But, you know, I got to say this, for you to still be able to just fluently tell your story, as painful as it is, I applaud you. I mean, you are a superwoman, and Terry, for you to support the groups as you do, because I know a lot. If you know, as you guys are saying, a lot of people come through that have these situations. I don't know if you know. I'm not even that strong. I'm sorry, I am not that strong. So I applaud you both, man. You guys are super women. Trust me, it's difficult enough to raise a child. But when someone else tries to harm your child and there's almost nothing that you can do about it at that moment, that has to be devastating. I mean, I don't know how you have gone through that. You know, I don't know how you survived that.
Well, and I can tell you, there's days that it rocked us to our core, and there were days that we didn't want to get out of bed, that we wanted to say, you know, enough is enough. And there's been many days that I've said, you know, I want off this train, because it seems like it's a train that you can never get off of. And you think, you know, okay, she's safe and it'll be okay, and she seems to be doing better. And then the next day something will happen and she's gone again, or she's left treatment, or, you know, or they're contacting her again. And so it, you know, it's an incredibly hard journey.
Yeah. Well, yeah, those journeys are hard. They just did a rescue in California 3 days ago from they call it a super spreader event, where they do the same thing that you're talking about.
Right.
And they arrested 158 people. They arrested 158, and 36 of the traffickers were juvenile.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like Terry said, it's bigger than it was when we came over on the slave ships. It's and with them legalizing the stuff that they call in drugs now, it's going to be number one probably by end of 2021.
Well, and it really has no bounds.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what, you know, race you are. It doesn't matter what socioeconomic background you're from.
Yes.
It happens across every race, every economic background, everything. And it can be males or females involved. It can be people that are low income. It can be people that are high income.
Yeah.
It can be people in trusted positions such as law enforcement, judges, you know, nurses, doctors. We've even had doctors in my hometown that have been convicted of human trafficking. So, you know, it's hard to know who to trust. And it's recognizing the signs, learning about it. It's so important. I can't even tell you how important that is. If I had not taken, as an educator, I saw a need. I saw that I had some of my adolescent moms that I work with at my school. I saw them in situations where human trafficking, you know, they were vulnerable to that and they were becoming involved in that. And so for me, it was, oh my goodness, as an educator, I want to lend a hand. I want to know the signs. I want to know what to do. So I had taken classes in human trafficking awareness. And thank goodness I did, because those became the toolbox for me to see the signs in my own child and to know what to do, who to report it to. And so I can't say it enough. Parents need to really understand that this is something that's going on. They need to educate themselves. They need to get enraged about it. And they need to be willing to lend a hand and report it.
Hey, I want to real quickly welcome our listeners off of YouTube. What's going on, Aaron, Cheryl? So, Terry, and I want to welcome Jocelyn to the show as well.
Hey.
Hi.
So, Terry, let me ask you, what are the signs? And let's welcome Aaron to the show as well. Hey, Aaron.
Aaron is part of the core team of the Indiana chapter, Rahab's Daughters, as Heidi. I am the Indiana director, just so that you all know when we're talking. But I am also the national event and program coordinator for the organization. Heidi is the national
head
coordinator for Moms Against Human Trafficking. Heidi and I wear we wear many hats. Today, it might be Moms Against Human Trafficking. It may be case management, because what we do is we do deal with the survivors directly. We do a multi things, because what happens is, let me just give you a little bit, just a quick background, and Heidi jump in, you know, also.
Yeah.
Rahab's Daughters is an organization that's going on their 8th year, but it is founded by a survivor. Her name is Shamila, but we call her Sam. Sam was born in London and raised in New Zealand. She came from an affluent family. But like any family, when you hit those teen years, I always tell people, when they hit 13, you wake up that morning, your child looks like it's your child, but the alien has invaded their body. And so they start going through their own changes. Sam ran away, but Sam had enough sense to know that she needed a job to take care of herself. She got hired at what, quote, was supposed to be a nightclub, but did not realize that it really was a brothel. At the end of the night, they told her her tab was off and to come upstairs so that they could figure it out. When she came upstairs, she did not see the light of day for 9 months. You know,
and she was trafficked at 4 different Super Bowls.
Yeah. She was traveled around. The reason I say that is because depending, I'm gonna just hold this up. I don't know if you'll really be able to see it. That is Sam. And when I met Sam was maybe like a size 2, a size 1, size 2, gorgeous. As you can see, she's a beautiful lady, but she was gorgeous. So she was considered a high ticket item. So if Sam ever really told all of her story, she probably can tell you some government officials, some actors, some judges, some CEOs that she was forced to service.
Wow, that's ridiculous.
Okay. And it took her 10 years to even be able to talk about it.
Right.
But the process, it was a church, and we don't mention because one, we don't have permission, but it's a prominent church that all of you would be aware of, that when this church was in its beginning and its formative and smaller stages, embraced her because she was sent. Her family was like Heidi. They were looking. Her mother's an attorney. Her father worked at one of the most prestigious, he was the COO for one of the top corporations in finances that was global. So they sent her to her grandmother who lived in the United States, and a church embraced her, protected her, because her trafficker was looking for her, and he was barring none to go and to find her. Because if you just think, just looking at her in her more mature years, in her younger years, just think, because she was 16 when she was introduced to the light. So I say that to just let you know that it doesn't matter, as Heidi says, it really doesn't matter what the income is.
No.
I'll put it like this: every one of us that's on this line, they have room for us.
Yeah.
They will find no one is immune to it. But Rahab's daughters, in the 7 years, it became a 501c3. It's been a 501c3 for 5 years, but their main focus is rescue, rehabilitation, and reintegration. But we do education, training, and awareness. And what happens is we don't just do an extraction and leave them be. They have a whole program. We walk them through their whole program of going through their rehabilitation so that they can be reintegrated back into society. And I'm really condensing it because we just don't have enough time. So based on the extent of what is going on, when we get a survivor, we'll know whether we need to get them out of the state, get them out of the city, whether we need to find substance abuse, because as you hear, many of them, to control them, they put them on drugs. We were dealing with one recently. He kept her on heroin.
Yeah, my daughter was given heroin, ecstasy, LSD, you name it. They kept her on it 24/7 so that she didn't know her surroundings, and she was unaware of things that they were doing at times because she would be so high. So
this sounds like a movie. I'm telling you, it sounds like a movie, but it's real. And
it's real life for us.
I'm sitting here wriggling in my chair and just shaking my head because I can't believe it. You know? And as you were talking, Terry, it's rehabilitation. You got a person that has been one way for so long, and then somebody comes in and brainwashes them, changes their life. I don't.
So,
Well, let's talk about the ones that's all they've known because they were born into it.
That's crazy.
yeah,
Let's talk about the 2-year-old. Let's talk about the 2-year-old, okay? Because if you're in the life and you have children, your children are going to be trafficked.
or the children that are a few weeks old that are being sold for thousands of dollars on pornography websites.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we fail to look at also.
Right.
The social media aspect of it. How it's easy to basically conversate with anybody around the world just from at the tip of your fingers.
Well, and I can tell you, traffickers use every social media platform to do so.
Yeah,
and that's one of the reasons. And that's one of the reasons my son, he plays PlayStation 5 and all that. And I have to really, I really have to basically be on there also.
Yeah.
But
you know what I'm saying, to make sure. And he's 15. And
but
I have
you're one of the few parents that do that.
Right.
Yeah.
When we say that the traffickers have it down to a science, we're trying to catch up. We already know. They know. They're familiar with Rahab's daughter. They're familiar with every human trafficking organization. They know that we're out here and they know what we're doing. They'll even try to infiltrate if they can. But when I say they have it down to a science, all right, you have the CEO, you have the Romeo, and then you have the snatcher. Most people think about, the milk cartons. Somebody grabbed them. All right. But they don't talk about the people that are being trafficking that live right next door to you, that go to work every day, that go to school every day,
Right.
that do things that they need to do. A cheerleading ring was broken up. They went to school. They went to school every day. Honor roll students, not gave their parents no identity. If your child is an honor roll student and all of a sudden they drop down to C's or D's, you're going to be trying to figure out what's going on. They maintained their grades because the threat and the mind washing was of such, they didn't speak out of it. They were acting out, but because they were teenagers, parents are saying, okay, they're just going through their thing. It wasn't until one was had STD and the other one was pregnant. And in that, it caused where they could take and break up the ring. Who were the ring leaders? The coach and the assistant coach.
Well, thank goodness we had a friend who was watching my daughter's page. She was watching her social media pages because she was friends with my daughter. And she saw that my daughter was suddenly using drugs, and she had blocked me from seeing those things. My daughter had, but my friend could still see what she was posting. And it was actually my friend who alerted me and said, "Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Because I'm really concerned about your daughter." And I said, "No." And she sent me some screenshots of things that I couldn't see. And I was horrified, absolutely horrified that this was our reality.
And that's one thing that's one thing about social media, really Facebook, because they can still be your friend, but they can also block stuff that you can't see.
Yeah.
Hide it is what they call it. Hide it.
Yeah.
I had someone that wanted to friend me, and I'm not one that just clicks and says friends, and I don't care. It could be all of you. If all of you were my friends and all of you on there, I still got to check the person out.
Right.
And the person had a church member on there, but only one member, just one friend. Beautiful young girl, beautiful. But I went to her page, and there's some signs. One, there really weren't much. There were pictures, but they were all pictures of her. You didn't see really any other friends. And then right underneath, you know, where you can post your big picture and stuff. I'm learning how to be techie. So if you want me to talk tech talk, I'm the wrong one. But underneath it, it said something about if you click this, it took you to another page.
Right.
Well, I clicked it. It took me over to her advertising page because she was advertising, saying all what she would do and all of that. So, you know, immediately I got out. I did call the person and talk to them, and they said the reason they did it is they thought that she was a member of the church. I said, "Huh, baby, you got to research stuff before you just, you know, you just do that." And I'm saying that, how many people just innocently might have just happened up, you know, on that, because they do their research real well. And like the Romeo's going to take his time.
Yeah.
Or she,
Months or
let's
years.
he or she, they're going to take their time. So we as parents might have to do some little old school, you know, who's your mama, who's your daddy, who's, you know, give me the DNA of the fly that's on the wall that I saw.
Right.
The whole 9 yards. We let our kids go stay with people without finding out what's going on. We're just going to have to be a little more aware. There's a pastor that just got arrested. I think it's in Philadelphia. So I just want you to know, it's not just when we're saying business people. There have been pastors. Some of the Greenleaf sessions kind of tapped on it, you know, kind of gently, if anybody worked Greenleaf. But we have an elephant in the room, and if we don't hurry up and put the elephant on a diet so we can kill it, the elephant is going to take and consume us. Right now we're prepping for Super Bowl. Normally, Super Bowl, on that one weekend, just that one weekend of Super Bowl, over 10,000 people will be trafficked. Now, it's going to be a little different this year because of COVID. But I'm just talking about normal Super Bowl. Rahab's has been doing Super Bowl since its inception, coming into existence. Over 10,000 men, women, and children will be trafficked at Super Bowl.
Wow.
They fly them in. When we were in Miami last year, they were flying them in. They were at the airport, because what happens is we have people, we do outreach. We're a ministry. We do outreach. And so the airport is one of the places. And they saw them coming in because it was like, yeah, okay.
Okay, Terry, I got to interject. I'm overwhelmed, number one, but a couple of questions. Number one, how has this grown so big? Number two, is there a identifiable face to a predator or an abuser? And number three, I'm overwhelmed. That's not a question. I'm just saying. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's not a certain look at all.
No, look.
You know what I'm saying?
You could be a trafficker. I could be a trafficker.
And you know,
we're all overwhelmed.
you know what's crazy about it? I don't, because when I used to do anyway, well, I still do it sometimes. When I used to do NBA parties, Super Bowl parties, Mardi Gras, Memorial Weekend, we used to do parties where we get all of the exotic dancers to come to one spot. And a lot of them will come in, like if you come to Vegas, you have to get your cards, you have to get all that to even work inside of a gentleman's club out here. And that's one of the spots where I started backing back from doing it because there's so much stuff that I saw up in there. because they're probably not making enough money on stage, so they're trying to do something else. And then you got all the people with the money that's coming out that's pretty much, like y'all say, Romeo whining and dining. And then they get stuck in a situation. But they don't look at it as being wine and dine. They look at it as, oh, I got to be somebody with money. I'm going to try to get as much money from it as I can. Yeah. And then they end up being stuck in a situation. So I never really looked at it like that until Terry started explaining it the way she was explaining.
Yeah, I mean, because we go in the strip clubs. We go in the strip clubs. We go in the brothels. We go in the massage parlors. We hit the streets. It's a team, and it's each area has its own dynamics. The one thing we will tell when we're doing the training, because we have training for everything. We don't send anybody out for anything. And before we get off, we're going to talk about ending traffic zone that all of you can get trained on before the evening ends. People have a mindset that the girls, the guys, this is something that they want to do. It's a choice that they made. Some of them, it is a choice. Many, it is not a choice. My first run of going into a strip club, what my perception of what I was getting ready to go into, I had already prepped myself that I was going to see an awful lot of skin, Mary and Martha bouncing all around and all kind of, stuff. Well, there you go. That's what I was thinking, So I had prepped myself. I was ready. I was like, oh. And the joke that I would do with the team, because we had some new people on there, just to keep their spirits high, and you're walking into something new and you really don't kind of know what you're walking into. We were in the strip club. They allowed us to come in, and how we do is we tell them that we're just coming, sharing love. We have some gifts for the girls. May we come in, may we talk to them, and they'll say yes or no. We'll give gifts if we have cookies or whatever the gift is for that particular run. We'll give them to the manager, to the bouncer. We'll ask, can we go in the back? Sometimes they'll say yes, and sometimes they'll say no. Well, this particular time they said we couldn't go in the back, but we could come in. And if the girls wanted to talk to us, they could. So here we are, 3 of us sitting at a table, and I'm watching 2 of them swing around the pole.
Sure.
One is really into it. The other one, you can tell, why in the so-and-so am I, what's going on? So I made the comment, I said, I really need to go up there and show them how to work this pole and let them see how they can work this pole, but I'm going to be fully clothed. And one of the girls said, well, you being fully clothed, they're not going to bring it. I said, oh, they're going to bring the money. They're going to bring the money, and I'm going to say, come to Jesus, So it made them laugh because I was not going to swing around the pole. Now, just so you know, I do have a dance background. I taught pole as an exercise.
Pole dancing.
Pole dancing as an exercise. But they started coming up to us. They were... they had barely little clothes on, but I would consider it an elegant strip club if you had to give it a name. Okay. I mean, nails done to the 9 yards, shoes. One girl, I even asked her where she got her shoes because she had some bad shoes on. Okay. Yeah. But 2 of them grabbed me and hugged me like for dear life. And my first reaction was, I want these people to think that I really got lesbian tendencies, that 2 of them are hugging me. And the Holy Spirit had to say to me, tell them that they're valuable. And so I started saying, you're beautiful. valuable. And as I did that, they started relaxing, and then they started talking. And one girl says, I'm not valuable, I'm invisible.
Yeah.
And I was letting her know, no, God made nothing that's invisible. God created you, and you're beautiful. And we were just talking, and I was saying, you can do whatever it is you want to do. And, you have to kind of just guide into the conversation. You can't say, are you being forced to do this? Just, well, how are you doing?
Right.
And she went on to say that, if she would not do strip clubs if she could find a job that would pay her the money that she was making so she could take care of her 5 kids, because her husband had walked out on her.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. A lot of them chasing the dollar, and where the money's coming from, that's how they get caught into situations.
So then we had another one, and Aaron can speak on it. We did a modified run here in Indiana, and we didn't know that Tuesday night was the slow night for strip clubs, but we were able to go into one that had more of a tendencies of a brothel than a strip club. The strip club one, they walk around and stuff. This one, the girls were sitting, and the men would approach them. There were 2 poles, but you knew where the activity was when you looked down you saw this hallway. So then you knew where the activity was. They let us come in. We had cookies that night. Some of the men came up thinking they could pay for the cookies, and we would give them the cookies. And so we had an opportunity, to talk, because one said, well, how come I don't have to pay? And all I said was, Jesus paid it all. Enjoy the cookies. He went back over to the young lady that he was talking to, but his whole persona changed. Now I'm saying that to lead into He Mad. And He Mad is a program that Rahab's is partnering with one of our partners, Conversions Resource Center out of Milwaukee. It's a program where men, and I will be sending you all the video, they see a little 15-second video, and they sign a pledge to say that they will not look at porn, they will not purchase porn, but they will have conversations with their male children and their male counterparts, letting them know that they don't need to do it either. And we're doing this major campaign so that we can get 60,000 men to say no more porn, no more porn. I just got a thing from the sexual exploitation organization, where MasterCard now will not take Pornhub. So if you try to purchase it, you can't run your MasterCard, because they're not going to accept it. There's so many facets to human trafficking. So many facets.
Absolutely.
You're giving us all of them.
No, I haven't. That's not even touching the surface.
That's the tip of the iceberg.
That's the tip. That's literally the tip.
While we're at the top of the iceberg, take a break. This is Dope Living TV. We're talking about sexual trafficking today, abusive situations, abusive relationships. We'll be back in about 15, what is it, Chris? 15, 20 seconds, something like that.
Yeah, about 20 seconds.
Yeah, y'all hold on, okay?
Yo, what's up? We watching Dope Living TV. What you watching?
I see you already got the lyrics to that, huh?
Yeah, I do.
I already see that. Okay. Hey, welcome back, everybody.
Every time they come on.
I see you, man. I'm trying to read your lips and see what you're saying, but that's okay. Let's give you that track, all right? Everybody, welcome back to the show. we just took a little break, just for the cause. Today we're talking about sex trafficking. We got Heidi Provo and Terry Griffin on here talking with the regular panel. Erin left, but hopefully she'll come back. All right, and we want to continue the conversation. So normally I'm talking, but I'm so involved in this that I don't even know what to say, because I'm the guy who speaks on. I can only speak what I know.
You know what's crazy?
What's that?
It makes me feel some way about myself because of what I used to do. Like I'm close friends with the people that started King of Diamonds. I'm close friends with the people that started Magic City and ATL.
Strip club.
And all of that. Yeah, pretty much the strip clubs. And it pretty much, it was a open, I don't want to say job, I'm going to say open employment. It was open employment for women to come there to make money. And they made so much money that when it was time to, when the money started falling off, especially after 2008, when the money started falling off after the real estate crash, they started trying to, I guess, get, how can I put it, get more money from guys.
Yeah.
That would put them in different situations. And when I look at social media today, you know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about, chasing the bag.
Yeah.
What can he do for me?
Yeah.
And
you got to understand that the strip club, the girls are not employed by the club.
Right.
Majority of they're not employed by the club. So that's why it's easier for them to move around, because they can go to another city and they're on vacation. And if they need some money, they can go to a club and they can perform, because they tell them whatever the percentage is.
Yep.
The club did the house fees that are going to be taken. Also, like was it Dream Girls? I forget the other one that's here in Northwest Indiana. It's a Hustlers franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The owner, the daughter inherited from her dad. Now, quote, they it's interesting. It's very interesting. They have an upstairs and a downstairs. The upstairs is, there has to be some kind of clothing on, so they may have something on. All right. I mean, it's still gonna be bare, but something on.
Right.
But downstairs, they don't have to be.
Right. It's pretty much like it is out here in Vegas.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same thing where it's topless, but it's only one club unless you not serving alcohol where you can get fully nude.
Well, where they're not serving alcohol, you can be naked.
Right.
And where they're serving alcohol, you got to have,
You only can be topless.
You can be, no, they weren't even top. They had here in Indiana, they have something, what's what, but I mean, it's
right.
So, hey, Tara, Heidi, where are you guys from?
I'm in Indiana. I'm in Northwest Indiana.
And I'm in Illinois.
Okay. Where's Erin from? Erin, where are you from?
Indiana also.
Indiana also, okay. See, Chris is in Vegas. I'm in Michigan.
Yeah. But I mean, I know, like, that's what I always say. I know a lot of people that come from Illinois, Indiana, out to Vegas doing the high-profile weekends. And
oftentimes the highways are used to transport girls from one site to another.
Right.
They can make money in other states, and so I mean that's what occurred with our daughter. She was taken into other states and traveled there and then brought back. So
you guys are blowing my mind, really. I mean, this week, this whole week has been an education, okay?
Because,
Yeah.
because like I said, when I was doing what I was doing, I didn't consider it trafficking.
Right.
Because the girls got their way there, and we just offered them a job for the weekend when they were there. You know what I'm saying? So
see, now there's a definition to it. Okay, I'm not saying anything bad against you, brother, but there's a definition to what is going on. And as innocent as we might have thought it was back, not necessarily innocent, but as okay as we thought it was back then, all right, it wasn't okay, and it's really not okay now, because now they're, instead of the girl, now you were mentioning how the girls came into the strip clubs and you gave them a job, okay, but they're being taken now and forced, and these are not of age girls. They're being forced to do this, okay?
But the thing about it is, that's what I said. It made me think about it different now, because we're creating the environment with what we're doing. You see what I'm saying? Where they probably wouldn't meet this person on a high profile weekend if we didn't create the event that we were doing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, and what you have to understand is that, the average age that a child is lured into trafficking is, for girls, it's 12 to 14.
Oh, I'm done.
Boys,
done. Lights off. I'm done.
For boys, they're lured in between the ages of 11 and 13.
Whoa. For who?
Boys.
For boys, yeah.
Okay, now you're just telling a whole nother story. Okay, so they're looking at young boys for trafficking as well?
Absolutely.
No one's exempt. No one is exempt.
No one's exempt.
That's what we're trying to get you all to understand. No one's exempt. As the youngest person we rescued was 7 weeks old.
Yeah.
Then that was.
And no, I'm not through. I'm not through.
Right.
7 weeks old. They recorded what was done on a 7-week-old baby, sold it on the dark web for $6,000 a view.
What?
Yeah.
Now the baby, the baby is doing well. His 2-year-old sister, the same thing. We're really not going to know the true repercussions of that baby until later on.
Yeah. And it goes back to what Dee was saying on Monday, when her daughter, which is still going through what she's going through now, but the guy wanted the baby back that she's taking care of right now. You know what I'm saying? And one of the main reasons was they could probably get more money for the baby than they can for the wife, for the mother. Right, for the mother.
Well, oftentimes the children are used as a pawn to keep the girls in line. They threaten to not feed them. They threaten to harm the children if they don't comply with what they're asking them to do. So maybe they've said, you're going to go to this club and you're going to go work and you're going to, go off into a hotel situation with this person. You're going to have sex with them, and then you're going to bring me back all the money. Because the girls, that's the thing, if they're under a trafficker, they are not allowed to keep the money that they're making.
Many of them don't have their own ID and stuff. When we get them, many of them don't have anything. Whatever they have on them, that's it. That is it. And the bottom line is, if they don't meet their quota, they dare not come into the house.
No, absolutely not.
They have to make their quota. So they may be out there a couple of days.
Dude,
because there's different variations. Those that are coming to Super Bowl, that you hate to categorize it, but we'll have to categorize high end, middle end, low end. High end is your escort service. You're gonna call, you're gonna say, this is what I want, this is what I want her to look like, or this is what I want him to look like. And then they'll say, this is how much it's going to cost. This is extra. Da 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 da. They're taking where they need to go. The bodyguard or whoever's going to stay there until whatever's done. They're going to leave and come back. Okay. Middle end is, you might not have it to that extent, but they're operating out of a hotel. Just say, Super Bowl, they've already booked the rooms and stuff, and they just gonna come in and out. Low end, they hitting the streets. They gotta walk those streets. They have to do whatever it is they need to do. And sometimes they have their kids with them.
Right.
So does that and I'm just asking the question because now I just gotta take it there. Do they sex traffic animals?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Wouldn't be surprised.
I'm lost.
I'm not familiar with it, but I wouldn't be surprised if let's just think about it. If you are of the mindset that you will mess with a child or you will mess with a baby, what makes you think you won't do something with an animal?
Well, and in my daughter's situation, her trafficker actually bought her a puppy dog because that was something that she wanted. She wanted a dog, and he bought her this beautiful blue nose pit, right? So cute, blue eyes, beautiful, gorgeous dog. And because she ran away and came home and was like, I don't want to be in this life anymore. You have to help me get out of here and, get me to safety, Mom. He took that dog and he destroyed that dog.
Chris, I'm lost, dude.
Yeah, man. I mean, like we always say, man, it's sick people in this world, man.
Sick.
You know what I'm saying? Very, very, very sick, man. I mean,
but there's hope.
Yeah, it's always hope.
The hope is engaging in conversation with your family and friends, learning some of the signs, because you're not going to know all the signs. I'm sure that even though Chris was a promoter, he was in the entertainment business, so he was providing a service. I've been to some of the parties. I mean, okay, not where didn't know, people connect, and you're not thinking of it in the thing. People connect. I'd go, with people, and you see people connecting. I'm thinking they're together. Okay, they may disappear. There's some stuff we know that's been happening, not just totally wet behind the ears. Right. But I really believe that if Chris had known some of the signs on some of the things, sometimes being malnutrition, the dress, kind of nervous, not looking at you in your eye, with the person, and they never speak. You say, hi, where did you get that? She got it from such and such. That it might have been some red flags to him for certain things. But when we look at stuff, we can't just look at, because everybody, like I said, is in the strip club, is being trafficked. No. What we want to do is build relationships. Right. So then, Just Love here, they have built a relationship. When you hear me talk about, and I really shouldn't be saying names, please forgive me, on the strip clubs and stuff, but
I don't care about
they have, the owner told them that they can come in anytime, because the girls need encouragement. And to my understanding, in some of that, there's some things put in place that they're not really condoning human trafficking. Clean this up. A lot of times they may not be aware that someone is being is being trafficked, because it's a business.
Yes, it is.
It's a business.
And this is one of the other things, like coming up, we didn't call it that. You know what I'm saying? When we thought of sex trafficking, we thought about what Greg talked about. Either the white van pulls up, or someone gets kidnapped and sold and shopped around and things like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We never thought about it as, okay, the strip club aspect or the Romeo aspect, or you know what I'm saying, to have someone that they have the P&P. You know what I'm saying? The pimp and the prostitute. You know what I'm saying? We knew that part was sex trafficking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We didn't know that there were so many other variations of it. And I think that's one of the reasons why Greg is like, wow.
Yeah, dude, I'm lost. Like I said, I saw stuff like that on TV. But I think Gina wanted to ask a question. Go ahead, Gina.
I think we lost Gina.
She might have dropped off.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. Gina, go ahead.
Thank you. I did drop off. No, Terry, I was asking you to, there's something you have that you're trying to connect with the new casino that's being built in Gary, correct?
Right. You know, the Casino Majestic is coming off the water inland, and it's right off the expressway. As soon as you get off the expressway, it's right there. And Hard Rock is the one that's they're building the building as we speak. I don't know. I think it's scheduled to open next year. Reality is casinos aren't going anywhere.
Nope.
They're not going anywhere. Folk gonna go and spend their money. They're gonna go gamble. What we would like to do is to be able to connect with the powers that be of Hard Rock, to sit down and talk with them so that when they get ready to do their employee training, that a piece, just a basic piece of regarding human trafficking can be part of that training. And that way, that can help combat some things, because the bottom line is they know how to make a 12-year-old look like they're a 20-year-old. And some of these girls look older than what they are.
That's that church with chicken and KFC. They got them steroids they pumping into that chicken.
My godchild. I was still thinking it was Gina. I was telling her I had to get her a training bra. She went into a full-fledged bra at 6.
That's that Joe Louis milk.
You know, and so getting that kind of starting the conversation and being able to integrate it into employees training, and then from there go in to having them to take the training to become a traffic-free zone area, which means it doesn't mean that they're not going to welcome. If you're a trafficker, we'll take your money. But what you need to know is you can't traffic out of here. And if you do, there's some things that here are the consequences and the things in place. It starts the conversation, it starts the education and awareness, which eventually, once you can do the businesses, you can do the organizations, you can do the individuals, you can do the government, then we can go to the city council and say, we need you to put an ordinance in place that says Gary is a traffic-free zone area.
But Terry, again, you said that and Heidi, you said as well that the perpetrator has many faces. Okay, so you're doing all of this. How can we be sure that they'll expose themselves so that they can be caught?
Well, let me give you a rundown on how Vegas operates. Because I started off in the casino field in Indiana,
right,
and moved it out here, and came out here to Vegas and started doing it out here when I was doing it. And the way we used to know what to look out when you're sitting there at a dead table at between 1:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, you can normally spot them out. You can spot them out in the big crowd also.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You already know if it's, they travel in twos is what they call them. They travel in twos. It's normally always two of them. You know what I'm saying? It's either one or it's two of them. The two of them, and you can see how they're wearing. They normally have on all black. You know what I'm saying? It's certain things that you look out for and you look for. Now, I don't know how it is in Indiana because we didn't have to worry about that at that time because a lot of the casinos didn't have hotels attached to them. The only one that had a hotel was Majestic and Trump at that time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So we didn't know, but it still goes back to, and this is another one of the key things. It used to be employees that would get in trouble in the Romeo aspect of it because they'll be serving them drinks. Someone will tip them $100 every time they come around, or $100 for every 3 drinks that come back to them, and then it turns into a relationship. You know what I'm saying? And then now they're spending money outside of the casino on them, and something happens, and they be like, "Well, it wasn't really a gift. I wanted my money back."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it comes into one of those situations. So in Indiana, I know when I was there, that part happened as far as it was employees.
So
they didn't have people that was walking and looking for, as they call it, action.
So can a woman be the trafficker?
Yeah. Got some. Yes.
The madam. The madam is pretty much what they call them.
Yes.
And
I mean, it's just.
They really do. They go about it in different ways.
Mm-hmm. You know,
it's really about manipulation and control.
Mm-hmm.
And generally, women go at it from, I'm going to be that nurturing person, that grandmother that you don't have, that mother that cares about you that you don't have. Whereas males come across as, I'll be your boyfriend. I'm going to take good care of you. I'm going to be your daddy for you. And it becomes a manipulation tactic to win them over and to gain their trust.
Like all of us are looking on our computer right now. We're on our computer, or we're on our tablet, or we're on our phone. And when we turn it off, we think nothing about it. But they're hacking into the computer. They're hacking into the telephone. They're hacking into so you got to put something, you need a cover over your, over the camera.
Yeah.
Also, you need to, I would encourage you to go to www.rahabsdaughters.org, which will give you much more information. Pray that all of you would love to become volunteers because we are a nationwide organization. We have room, especially you, Chris, with us getting ready. Even though we're gearing up for Super Bowl 21, we're laying the foundation for Super Bowl 22, which is going to be in California.
They're going to do California. Then the year after that, it should be Las Vegas. Is what they're talking about.
So, we'll give you more information, but then that you can take some of the training, human trafficking and technology, where that's specifically talking about going on the internet, and we take you to sites. We take you to the pages, but then also giving you some tools and things that you can put in place to protect your family and yourself. Even a tracker, how you all can track one another, where it goes into more detail, because this is a subject that is very overwhelming. It taxes your heart.
Man.
But at the same time, there are things that we can do. We have a piece called Fight Like a Girl, Fight for a Girl. The whole piece, when it's done, we bring the males and females together to talk about human trafficking and relationship. Then we split them up. The men take the guys, and the martial art team takes the girls. And what they do is we always have this saying, men volunteer to suit up to get beat up. And what they do is they show them, they put them in actual scenarios, which can help them with date rape, all kind of situations that they could find themselves in, and they show them how to protect themselves, but then they have to practice it. So we tell them go buy a lot of Epsom salt, because when you finish this training, you're going to need it. They love it because what happens is the guys start putting them in certain scenarios, their adrenaline gets pumped, and so they actually start doing some of the movements. We train healthcare workers because the ER and the OBGYN has missed so many signs, because it's not that people don't want to do and to help, it's that they actually don't know.
Yeah.
They just actually don't know.
Mm-hmm. And we're like we said, we're pretty much remedial to the fact, because like we said, we only thought sex trafficking was one type of way.
Right.
Before we even started this week. You know what I'm saying? We were talking about, it was pretty much what Greg was talking about. We thought the white van pulled up, they snatch you, drive off.
Right.
That type of situation. Or you're kidnapped, walking up the street, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Walmart. You can be in Walmart. Right. You can be in Walmart. They start talking to you. And that's why you have to be real conscious about your surroundings. And that doesn't mean to put you on edge where you're just nervous walking around. But this happened to a lady. She was just, how we start talking about, we're looking on the shelf and we're like, this price is ridiculous. They know they shouldn't be, and just started engaging in a conversation. But what the lady noticed was that she saw a man watching. And when the person that she was talking to eventually left the aisle, she noticed the man coming back periodically watching her. So when she went to another aisle, she saw him again. So something told her not to go to her car.
Right.
She called her husband, and her husband says, stay on the phone, stay in there for a minute, stay on the phone. And when she went out, the lady was like coming up to approach her. And she said, honey, hold on. I need to talk to the lady that I was telling you about. And the lady and the guy then, left. When you go in, you lock your car. Many of us, we go into the gas station because we don't always do the credit card. We leave our cars open. Some people leave their cars running. I don't understand that, but they leave their cars running. When we come out, we don't look to see if somebody's underneath the car, let alone somebody in the car.
Yeah, right. In the back seat.
Right.
And because we don't think about these things, but we're living in an era now where we have to think about these things. When you're going jogging in the morning, you really need to be telling folks what route you're taking.
Well, it has not slowed anything down.
No.
It actually ramped it up.
It ramped it up. We have been busy. I think we have helped to place about 200?
Yeah.
About 200. Because they were calling because the Johns were throwing them out on the street because they weren't really making money. You got to go.
Yeah.
Right.
That's ridiculous. I'm lost. I mean, I'm rarely at a loss for words.
Well, let me put it like this. Just a normal, I'm just saying a normal, because it's like a menu. Your basic menu, traffickers, I don't like to call them victims. Their employee that they don't pay. A CEO looks at their organization. One girl is worth $250,000 for them a year base. That's the base.
Yeah.
Now, if they run away and go back, because we can rescue and they'll go back. Normally, they'll go back about 7 times before they actually totally come out. Right. So if they go back, or the scenario happened that it was a situation where it might have been a drug bust,
Mhm.
and things happen. Well, they already know that when they go back, it's going to be a beat down. Pray that they don't kill her. So what they want to do is bring a gift. So they try to go find somebody. Now, this happened to someone that works with Homeland Security that was in that unit. They asked to a certain organization if they would take a person for overnight, and the organization said yes. Well, the trafficker had been arrested, so they placed the girl in with the organization, placed the girl, but the girl left. She took a special needs person with them, another girl, special needs, because she was calling herself going to go back, right? She went to the uncle of the trafficker. What the uncle said was, for you to stay here, one, you're going to have to carry some drugs for me. So she did that. They, they, there was a sting. Well, I say he got busted, right? He didn't get arrested because he had nothing on him. But the girls that were with him got arrested because they had the stuff on him. So the organization is calling their point of contact from Homeland Security saying that the girl left, but also somebody else is with them. And then the police are calling saying she's arrested and now she has criminal charges. So we have it when the layers, there's more legislation that needs to take place.
Absolutely.
That's more focused not on the survivor, but on the trafficker.
Yes. Woo!
Yeah.
Y'all coming real hard with this, and I guess it needs to be. And Heidi and I, like I said, we were talking before the show even started, up to about 15 seconds before the show started, and I just had to tell her, man, and she agreed. This is something, even though it's I call it a taboo subject. This is something that has to be talked about because it happens. It's real, and this week I've been made painfully aware that it is very, very, very real. Again, I don't know if I was sheltered. I don't know if I was under a rock, under one of them magic capes where you can't see nothing. But
you know what it is, bro. Is sometimes if it's not happening within,
right,
you don't pay attention to.
Right.
Pay attention.
Right. We're
Look, I
getting
saw
ready
the
to.
movie.
January is National Human Trafficking Month.
They even got a month for it.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Human Trafficking Month is in January, and we will be hosting. It's called Brave. This is me, the hero in you. It's for girls 10 to 17 years old. It's going to be virtual. It's free. Has some awesome stuff that's going on, but we're going to integrate. We're talking about empowerment and the hero in them, but we're going to do age appropriate conversation about human trafficking and them being aware of some of the signs on how their friends are befriending them.
Right.
Because they're in the school. They're in the school.
When you get a flyer, make sure we get that flyer. We're gonna post it and we'll help you promote it.
We'll send the flyer. That's Heidi's on the team. You know how to deal with that. But I encourage you really to please go visit the website. When you go visit the website, go get involved and hit events. And it has all our events that are taking place. We would love to do a virtual piece. Whatever we can do to support you, because Greg, last night, I wasn't able to say it, but I can say it tonight if you don't mind. I don't know. You're in production. You're in the industry. You're in film and right, all of that. Okay. And you have your own business, right?
As does Chris. As does Gina. As does most people that were on there.
Hey, Greg. This is about you. Don't bring me.
Terry, I'm on, but I don't like talking about myself. Go ahead.
But I don't know if you have a nonprofit arm to the for-profit arm. If you don't have a nonprofit arm to the for-profit arm, the nonprofit arm needs to take place because you are to train the future, those that will be doing what you're doing, those that will be the future filmmakers, those that will be the future radio producers, those that will be able to learn how to own a radio station, how to own a television station. And you are the conduit to do that, as well as still have your for-profit. Because when you wrote your vision years ago on what you wanted to do, now you're going to see all of it come into fruition, but it's going to come into fruition not on a small scale. You already connected with some movers and shakers. You're already connected in the industry, but you'll be a MGM grand.
I mean, I hear you. I hear you. And I fully accept what you're saying. Me, I'm not the. I'm a very humble guy. I've done what I've done, but I don't talk about it too much. And I don't. You know, I just do my stuff behind the scenes. I'm quiet with it. I just do what I do. This is forms for people like yourselves. You know, Chris been knowing me for a while. He's quiet. You know, we just do what we do because it's what we love. Okay, but on the same token, I hear everything that you're saying. We don't have a problem with helping or doing anything for anybody that has a legitimate cause, and this is to me is a legitimate cause. Before, if you got a flyer or something like that, you need to promote it on our show. You want to come back on this show and talk about it. I don't care if we're talking about clowns in space. If you want to come here and talk about it, you can talk about it. Okay, and post, if you don't mind, post your links to whatever you want. Post it on the post on my page. All right, just go on there, just post it. You know what I mean? And people will see it. Between Chris, myself, and all of the people, Jocelyn, Ludine, and everybody, we have a huge fan base as far as people that follow us. So,
well, we would love to come back, if you don't mind, where we could do something collaboratively, because we believe in supporting. We don't just believe in just, you know, letting people take and help us. We believe in helping those that help us in any way that we can. As during January, Human Trafficking Month, if we could put some things if we can do something, I would love for you to meet the founder. I would love for you to meet her husband, Dr. Donardo Ramos, who is a former pastor, but also is a psychologist and stuff. That I sent Gina one of just an excerpt of a piece that he did in Indiana for us in 2018. And any connections, any people that you want us to talk to, or if it's some information that you need to know, really feel free to reach out to us, and we'll be more than happy to do whatever it is that we can. Because the bottom line is, you know, the old African proverb is that it takes a whole village to raise a child. It takes a whole village to take and do anything. And the only way we're going to be able to not only just knock out human trafficking, but educating our children, building financial wealth, and having emotional stability, we have to do it collectively. Because if one's down, we might as well say we're all down.
Okay, so this is what I want to do. If I'm saying it nationally, so I like all of this. I like what's being said. So January is sex trafficking month, you said?
Human
trafficking. So, Chris, I might need your help on this. I might need your help. I want to create with Heidi and Terry's assistance a PSA. Let me film a PSA. Let me make a PSA for you guys. All right. You guys, if and you know, audience, y'all can chime in if you want.
Thank you.
At some point, but you guys give me the information. Write me a script of sorts. Okay. I already have an idea in my head, but I'll do a PSA for you guys. It's 30 seconds, a minute, maybe 2 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. It depends on the what you want to see or what you want people to hear. So much can be said in 30 seconds. So much can be said in a minute. Okay. So Chris, I might need your help on this one, bro. So I want to do that for you. I want to do a PSA in your name.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I really
receive it. Yes, yes, yes. Because our team, we rely 95% on volunteers, and I can say not only us, all nonprofits got hit very hard with this pandemic, to the point of we had to we slashed the budget like 3 different times. But because we know that budget, God has his hand in it.
Budget. This is free of charge, no budget. And I don't do nothing free.
You're gonna be blessed. We appreciate it. And you're gonna be blessed. Yes, Lord.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and definitely we're all called here in one shape or form or another. Once you learn about what's going on, you definitely just have this absolute call to lend a hand to survivors. And you know, we really appreciate.
Yes.
All I can say is
and just breathe, because everybody has a place that they can, something that they can do to help eradicate this. I was looking at your page this morning. I will go there and do and I have contact with Gina and Jocelyn that can help navigate me. Chris, you on Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay. If I friend you, just so y'all know, when I set up my page, I didn't know what I was doing. So I left the I off of my first name, and I didn't know how to put it on. So, you know, when you tear, I'm Tear. I'm Tear. So when you Tear, that's who it is.
Well, and she is sometimes.
And in the words of my very, very dear sister, things don't just happen, they happen justly.
Yes. Heidi, she's the one. She's the owner of the restaurant. I was telling you that when you come to town, that we got to go take you to Jay's Breakfast. Heidi's going to be speaking at the Share Group, which is another organization that fights domestic violence and human trafficking, on January the 8th. I don't know if they will be streaming it so that people can see it. That won't be attending. We're assuming we're going to be able to attend. With COVID, it's a day-by-day piece.
Chris over here sweating, dude. the word free to me.
Yeah, but God is getting ready to open up the windows and pour you out blessings that you really are not going to have room enough to receive, because of your heart and your humbleness.
Look at it this way.
Miracles, people.
Look at it this way. It's not free. You're voluntary.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
I'll tell you, I have been so enlightened this week. It's a terrible subject, and I don't know if enlightened is the word to say, but I'll say informed this week about this terrible.
It's a mind opener. It's a mind opener. It's really brought a lot of awareness to me.
Yeah. Me too. I feel like I'm stupid right about now, man, for real. Because I didn't know what was going on like that. Like I said, I've seen it on television, I've seen it in movies, you know, and the face of the face that I've seen was some old and anybody who's affected by this, I'm apologizing ahead before any. I see a black guy with you know, lurking in the corner with a cigarette. I see this Italian guy rounding some girls up. You know, I see the Chinese guy. You know,
No.
I see that the made up version of it. Okay,
Right.
and to know that that it could be a pastor, it could be a councilman, it could be a record producer, it could be anybody.
Absolutely.
That's ridiculous. It could be Trump.
And it can be,
And you know,
Well,
too.
when you're saying that, look at this. Look at this. Look at the hype when they started doing things to Bill Cosby and then what was it? Einstein. Sometimes we don't know the signs. And when I'm saying the signs, not just the signs on human trafficking, how stuff was starting to be brought to the light. We just weren't connecting the dots. Now, I'm not saying that any of them were in trafficking and stuff, because I'm still of the mindset, you know, you and we know that some dynamics can be different. I'm just saying that in life we get snippets and warnings, and sometimes we don't catch on to the things that are being put in our face. Human trafficking is not new.
Right.
It's not new. It's just it's more enhanced now, and they have a system. When I say that they have a system, they have it down to a science, because just as quick as we think we have a handle on it, they flip the script on us.
absolutely.
They flip the script on us. Super Bowl. I mean, you know, when we're looking at all those ads and stuff that are placed to the girls and the guys, there is a site you can go to, rubmap.com, and you can put in your zip code, and it will tell you everything that's in your demographic area in detail.
Oh boy.
You know, and so when you're looking at human trafficking, you still really need to look at domestic violence and rape, because those that are in the juvenile, in the foster care, 1% of them will be caught up in human trafficking 45 minutes or 48, not 45 minutes, excuse me, 48 hours from them being released out of the system.
Yeah, and running away from home.
Running away from home, runaways, homeless people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because we're not addressing issues that we need to address. We're making judgments. There are children that go that and have been going to school, making good grades, but living on the street or living in a car because circumstances just changed, you know. Then you have many on the street who just literally have mental issues when they started closing down the mental hospitals. And if they didn't have a family member that came and got them, they just put them on the street.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so when you start looking at stuff, and I clumped all those names together, not saying that any of them were trafficking or anything, is that when you start looking at sex, when you just start looking at sex, how it can take and lead, one thing can lead to something else. I think, let's just say, and I'm just using you as an example, Greg, okay, that I'm interacting conversation with Greg. He's in the production industry, and I'm trying to get in that industry, and I want to learn that industry, and you know, I want to glean from you, and how can I do that? They'll use that. Many of the immigrants that have come, that are here, and now can't get back is because their family was sending them thinking that this person was going to see to it that their family member would get a good education, would get a good job, and then when they got here, they got trapped and caught up in it. And a lot of times we don't look at all those dynamics. A young lady, which was labor trafficking, was rescued. She lived, she slept in their closet. Now I'm talking about a mansion, a gated mansion, big mansion. She worked day and night literally for them, taking care of them, their children's children. And she had barely just the basic money to do the bare things that she needed. Now, they were able to rescue her. Her employer was not arrested for having her in really labor trafficking. They got them on something else, but they were able to get her out. But when they got her out, because there were no things really in place, she didn't know what to do. So we have to fill in the gaps, not just focus just on the survivor. What's that parent going through? What's that father going through? Here you're looking at a woman that's an educator and her husband is a therapist. What did they go through? What we had one that came through the program because she got pregnant. Her pastor father was a pastor of a church, kicked her out of the house. She was living on the street. Someone started just buying her some food. And then he did that for a while. And then later he said, why don't you let me just come on and take care of you? I'll be, I'll take care of you so that you can get up. And then later on, she got a job and everything. Came home one day and he said, okay, this is what you got to do. Hey, bam.
Right.
So this is there's not enough time, hours in a day, not enough weeks in a year to discuss this. All right, but next month is Human Trafficking Month. We got to step on it, ladies. So I want to make sure that this happens. So friend me on Facebook, of course, and let's get the conversation started so that we can get this done. And just because Human Trafficking Month is in January does not mean that human trafficking information has to stop there. We got to keep it going. Make sure it happens. So before we get out of here, though, Heidi, if there's anything that you can tell people out there to encourage them, what would it be?
Know the signs. Educate yourself. Talk to your friends and family members about it. Make them aware. Get enraged that this is happening. Be willing to lend a hand to survivors and to support them and to report the signs that you're seeing. Even if you think, oh, well, it could be, but I don't want to get involved because, what if it's not? Lend a hand anyway. Report it because you may save that person's life.
Perfect. Perfect. Terry?
Yes. If they're under 18, you're mandatory to report. But it's better to report it and be wrong than not to report it. And then somebody or somebody's life is continually being ruined. As Heidi said, everything that Heidi said, I totally agree. But then getting involved because we need more safe houses. And when I say we, not just Rahab's daughters, we need more safe houses. We need more people that are being trained in human trafficking. Moody Bible School Institute has a degree program that you can go and get a degree in human trafficking that will give you information. It's us all working together, but mainly talking to your children, the art of communicating with your children. Somebody's house is a kid's house. There was that one house on the block that all the kids migrated to. If if you don't have someone, your parents that you can talk to, or someone that you in your family that you can talk to, let's find somebody that you can talk to, because communication is key. And no, we're all going through something. We all got issues. So let's not take and do judgment because they don't have the right clothes on. They have an odor, or they just don't act like you think they should act. We may not know what they're going through.
Well, and now that you know better, do better.
Do better. Gina, you've been a little quiet today. So, Gina, just how do you feel about everything that these ladies have said? You're muted, Gina. You're muted.
Sorry about that. It was just, like I said, it was the real eye opener for me all week. Like I told Terry, I said I was so quiet on the panel simply because I was in awe. Like I don't, it's just very new to me, and it's something that's not new. This isn't new, but it was very new to me, and it makes me want to, pull my granddaughter close to me, call my daughter every day, and make sure everything's okay. It's just, it's like you said. I'm just really surprised at this.
Can I say this?
Mhm.
Stop putting all those pictures of your children on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop trying to make your kids grow up faster than they need to grow up with. A 10-year-old does not need lipstick on.
Okay. Absolutely. Chris, final word, man. Final thought.
I mean, it's been a great week. We accomplished a lot, and we have more to accomplish. More to talk about. Like they said, like Terry said, and Heidi said, this conversation will never be over because we have to really get to generations, and keep it going. We have to keep that cycle going. So it was a good week. From everything that we talked about this week, the conversation we had yesterday, and the conversation that we're having today. So you already know anything y'all need from me, just let me know.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Ladies, before we go, we end our show now every day with this.
You're beautiful. You're smart. You're loved. This week we're great. You got this. You're a badass. You can do this.
Yes, I love it.
Beautiful. On that note, hey, this is Dope Living TV Live. Gina Gatson at Chris Mill. Thank you, Heidi Provo and Terry. I'm sorry, Tara Griffin for hanging out with us. Hey, ladies, do me a favor, stay on for a second after we get off the air, just so we can talk for a second, all right?
Okay.
All right, everybody, it's Greg Gay and the crew. Dope Living TV Live. We will see you next week. Everybody have a good weekend, all right?